Is now the right time to be selling your Nick Dacos Brownlow predictors? Welcome back to Buy, Sell, Hold, the weekly series where I'll be telling you which AFL sports cards you should consider buying, selling, or even potentially holding for a better deal down the line so you can enhance your collecting experience and benefit from the hobby that you love. A wise man once told me that you're only as good as your last innings. So let's dive into this week's round of footy and chat about some cards that you should look into acquiring, moving on, or even potentially sitting on for a little while longer. After starting at 3 to start their season, the Cats have now strung together 5 wins in a row and miraculously find themselves only 1 win outside the top 4. Those who wrote the Cats off after 3 weeks of footy, you're wrong. From a player perspective, I think we all knew how good Jeremy Cameron was when he decided to defect from GWS. But it feels as though it's only now that he's getting the respect from footy fans that he deserves. If Cameron were to eclipse the 100 total by the end of the season, you can only assume that it would have a seriously positive impact on some of his trading cards. Despite spending 9 seasons in New South Wales, Jeremy Cameron does have a few nice Geelong cards that Cats collectors and speculators can invest in. Some cards that immediately come to mind include the Brilliance Base, his Footy's Finest from Optimum, and even his lone Geelong signature card from the Cats Platinum Premiership set. So it begs the question, is 100 goals a few too many for Jeremy Cameron? Will he join that exclusive 100 goal club with some other all-time great forwards? Before we move on to the sell, if you enjoy content like this, be sure to leave a like and follow, and comment below which cards that you're currently buying or selling. As alluded to at the start of the video, is it now becoming the time to think about moving on your Nick Dacos Brownlow predictors? Even though the Collingwood Football Club had a very successful fortnight, the big talking point coming out of both those games was the lack of influence Nick Dacos imposed in both those wins. It seems as though other clubs have finally had enough of number 35 running around unopposed, with Sydney and Adelaide both sending Ryan Clark and Ben Keys to quell the influence of Nick Dacos. From a statistical point of view, it's been a very successful exercise.
Great success.
Dacos has only had 5 score involvements in the past 2 weeks, which is significantly lower than his season average of 8 in the first 6 rounds. While many people have been snapping up Dacos Brownlow predictors from anywhere between $750 to $900, it can only be assumed that the last 2 weeks has brought Dacos back slightly to the pack with seasoned pollers Marcus Bontempelli and Clayton Oliver. The betting markets currently have Nick Dacos as a 36% chance of winning the Brownlow medal, which when taking into account current predictor prices, pushes a successful goal predictor redemption to prices north of $2,000. Big numbers, not only in a collecting context, but in any context. If you could still recoup $750 for a goal predictor that currently has a 36% chance of winning, would you think about selling? It should be mentioned that even though teams are blunting Dacos' impact, Collingwood is still winning games. AFL clubs obviously don't care about Nick Dacos' Brownlow chances. So if the tactic's still resulting in opposition losses, is the Dacos tag still going to be a popular tactic moving forward? Thinking back to last round's segment, my hold for that week was the Adelaide Crows, and this week it's a team in the same state but on the opposite side of town, the Port Adelaide Power. Port Adelaide have been the sneaky achievers for the 2023 season with a current winning streak of 5 games, which imminently looks like a 6-game winning streak should they take care of North Melbourne this weekend. Many supporters question how many games Port would have in the wins column at this point in the season, but already taking the scalps of Brisbane, Sydney, St Kilda and now Essendon, now becoming increasingly likely that Port Adelaide are going to feature in this year's final series. The tight scorelines have probably limited the positive publicity on Port Adelaide's season. However, watching their game in full on the weekend, I've never seen a more one-sided 5-point victory in my life. Moving on from this week's matchup, if Port Adelaide were able to secure a victory over Melbourne at the Adelaide Oval in round 10, spotlight would shine brightly on Ken Hinkley's men, which will result in a price spike in key Port Adelaide cards. Look towards players like Connor Rozee, Zach Butters, Jason Horne-Francis, Todd Marshall, and even club legend Travis Boak for your potential investments. That's it for this week's Buy, Sell, Hold. As always, let me know down in the comments which cards you're buying and selling at the moment. Catch me next week as we reflect on the round of footy that was and moving into next week with all your potential trading card investments. See you then.